Altcoins, are they going to soar or are they going to plummet? Welcome to Debate Crypto. Question everything, trust nothing. Welcome everybody back to another beautiful here Magic Money Monday, where we cover all the altcoins in the crypto market right now. And we've got the one Army Piper. What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing, brother?
I'm excited, man. We're finally back from the Bitcoin conference. I'm excited to talk to all of you guys and what's happening with the altcoins right now. Right. Up next, we got the Candle Man, Frankie. What's going on?
What's going on, man? Just trying to recover from Miami.
Yeah, tell me about it, bro. We're talking about it off stage. It's a hangover party right now. And finally, Bill Noble in the house. What's going on, man?
Hi, man. Thanks for having me.
It's always a pleasure to have you guys on. You guys know these TA episodes are my favorite, and I love it when I get to host you guys. It's just great information. I mean, it's just like I feel like I'm at the conference all over again, getting all the exclusive information, especially here in the altcoins right now. So for quickly, right, for everybody that's watching right now, if you haven't smashed those likes, smash the likes. Everybody can go follow them. Download in the link in the description. Their link are in the description. Make sure you follow Army Candle. Your name Candle Man keeps throwing me off. Frankie Candles and Bill Noble. Make sure you guys go follow them. But the altcoins right now, we saw a big run in the meme coins. We saw that kind of as a top signal, right? I've been talking about that for a while, and Bitcoin's kind of been pulling down since then. And I kind of want to cover with you guys right now in the altcoins space, where are we kind of headed, right? Is this kind of the top for the altcoins and the rallies kind of come to an end? Maybe there's a few stragglers that still have, a little bit of a pop to go here and there, and we can talk about those as well. Or, is there an altcoin season coming after this Bitcoin pullback? So that's kind of what we're talking about here today. So just first off, I just want to hit Army Piper with, talk to me about Litecoin. I know you mentioned it off screen before everybody got here, and it's one that I've been talking about on the shows, talking to people about being a sleeper, right? Litecoin's got the ordinals now, just like Bitcoin has, and I believe there's about 2 million inscriptions in the Litecoin protocol right now. We've seen a lot of congestion in the Bitcoin network because of the ordinals, but Litecoin can do it faster and cheaper, right?
So it can.
So what can you tell me about Litecoin right now?
Hey, so the big thing is we got the halving coming up, brother. Litecoin, a lot of people don't realize Litecoin has a halving just like Bitcoin has. And one of the guys that I follow on Twitter, he's got a thing called Rec Capital. And so he had this thing here recently that he was talking about on it. He was saying that Litecoin halving scheduled for August 2023 here, and this got the historic breakdowns on it. Prior to halving one, Litecoin bottomed 122 days out and then rallied 820%. Halving two, rallied here 550%. I mean, these are some big moves, guys. We're talking 5 to 8x here. Even if it was a 4x, right now we're in that 90-day window out from that, and you should be watching Litecoin closely. The charts aren't looking too bad. They're looking pretty good. I've been watching for a little pullback here on mine. Let me go ahead and pull it up. I'll talk about it real fast while I'm looking through here. But one of the strategies that I do when I'm looking at pullbacks here is on these big run-ups is I wait for it to come down here and hit this golden pocket. Well, if you look here on this 4 hour, the golden pocket's going to be hitting right here on our dynamic reactor from Chart Prime's Oracle. And even this run-up would give us a target of $118. So kind of move is that right there? Let's go take a look and see. It would be from the golden pocket. So let me grab that. Bam, there we go. Let's grab this up here. And yeah, I mean, right there's a 37% move. So if you're talking a 4x move on that, we'd be looking at probably around a $300 to $400 Litecoin coming into this halving event. So mind you, there is typically a little pullback afterwards too. It's definitely a buy the rumor and sell the news, but looking at Litecoin right now, and it's holding some strong support in a sideways grind. So if you're looking to DCA into something that has some really good turnaround and you don't want to wait out for that Bitcoin halving event that's going to be taking place a year from now, well, about 90 days from now, you got another halving event and make some money on that. So,
Dude, how long would you say it would take for the Litecoin to reach around what you said, $200, $300? Is there a time estimate on that,
I
or is
would,
that
I would,
just
I would say that's probably, you're probably looking right about the time that Bitcoin's doing its having to carry it on. Give it a nice little pump off of its having, little pullback, find some support, consolidate, pump off again. Right about that time, takes off Bitcoin, grabbing it, catching those winds, second wind, if you will, and off it goes. So it's not a bad time to get in right now at all.
Yeah, dude, I'm excited. Like I've been saying, I'm excited for Litecoin. Maybe it's nothing, right? Maybe this Ordinal stuff is just a fad. Maybe it goes away. But if it doesn't and it continues to grow, I think that the Ordinals on Litecoin could be a very good, uh, resurrection for Litecoin to come back to life, to really have a purpose and take some congestion off of the big horde Ordinals system at the same time. So maybe this is it.
Yeah,
Maybe this is what brings
I want
Litecoin
to
back.
I want to point out those numbers that Rect Capital was talking about on Litecoin's previous halvings were without any utility, really. So let's add some utility in there, shake that up a little bit, and see what happens now. So,
Yeah, dude, 100%. I mean, I'm excited to see what happens. Bill, talk to me. I know you talk about AI coins a lot. I saw
Right.
something came up today. Apparently, a fake image of some type of explosion near the Pentagon came out today, and the
Right.
stock market dropped. I want to say, I could be wrong, like 30 basis points, 30 points, or what was it?
Yeah, no, it was a material, move.
Yeah.
This thing that came out this morning. So to clarify, there was, a report via the Bloomberg terminal, like not just like, Yahoo Finance, like the Bloomberg terminal sent something out with big red letters, explosion at the Pentagon, right? That went through all these reputable chat rooms, and then it was like, oh yeah, sorry. Our group called the Pentagon and they're like, there's no explosion. And it was some AI generated photo. Welcome to the new
Wild.
world.
Wild, right? Right where we're going with AI is AI dangerous? Clearly, it's got something going on that could make it can just
Right.
make
And wait till
anything
they,
real.
yeah. I mean, everybody's going to, thing is for the 2024 campaign, everybody's going to have to go live. Everything's going to have to be live, right? Anything recorded or anything photographed could be fake. Now, okay. So previously I was like, you got to watch out for this debt ceiling thing. Ironically, Crypto Blood was on here, shout out to him. He was talking about liquidity. Okay. To make a very simple analogy, the government's out of money, whether they default or they don't, they're eventually going to have to come in and borrow hundreds of billions of dollars. So that's going to, possibly hurt capital markets. I think everybody was afraid and everybody got short, or everyone just woke up one day and said, you know what? $1 in Bitcoin or $1 in stocks is better than $1 in the bank. That's why sell in May and go away really didn't seem to work. Although, I prefer buy in July and let it fly. I kind of like what, Army is saying about Litecoin. You want to be grabbing this stuff on July 4th, right? Let this happen. In the meantime, what do you do in crypto? Well, I don't know. How about what they're doing in equities? Do you realize that the narrative in AI, right? Or let me just pull this up before I go to the AI coins. The narrative in legacy is that, AI is going to allow these big companies to lay off everybody and replace them with machines. Now, you're like, well, what is this? Is this an altcoin? No, it's Google, right? Everyone's like, oh, ChatGPT is here. Google is done. This thing's going straight up, or has been. Now, this is probably a little bit toppy, but the narrative that drove this was, AI is, going to save everybody money and make everybody money. Okay, well, flash over to crypto. I met these guys from Singularity Net, AGIX. at Consensus. Their thought leader was up on the stage with Snowden. I met the whole team. I'm like, oh my God. I asked the thought leader in a Q&A, describe how your business adds value, expecting to get brushed off. And this guy was like, the answer was so profound that his own people were sorry that they didn't record it. And his bottom line is, just to keep it simple, it's giving the little man a way to own a piece of AI by owning their, buying into their decentralized AI mechanism. So obviously, as you can see, it's like everyone is completely given up on this, right? I loved it at 57 cents, but I don't want any at 25 because I'm too busy chasing Monkey Coin. It's sitting on its 62% retracement. Okay. Singularity DAO, which again is very speculative, I'm sure. Okay. Which is an affiliated or related coin inside their ecosystem. Okay. It's got a 9 bottom, right? After this big selling climax, and then it went straight up. So again, in crypto, if there is an altcoin play, like let's say the market's going to go sideways, like, Army was like, Litecoin will slump. Well, what happens if crypto is like this sideways quiet phenomenon? If sell in May is like, sleep in May, or it's just boring, I got to think this AI narrative comes back, right? I know the meme coins are fashionable, but man, all you need is one really big headline in AI in a thin market to maybe get this going. I mean, I would rather buy the dip in this stuff and risk getting stopped out than buy the dip in meme coins. That's just me.
Dude, I completely agree with that for the simple fact that AI is, right, you've opened the bottle, you let the genie out. Like, AI is going to be making headlines for the foreseeable future. Every single other day, a new company is going to come out, right? That Bard, or is it called? Yeah, Bard, Google's equivalent of ChatGPT came out. Right? Everybody's talking about it. Elon Musk is constantly talking about AI and different things. So it's only a matter of time before the merge of more crypto AIs and big AI headlines start really pumping some of these coins, because they're only going to get better. AI is not going to get worse by any chance. So it's only going to get better. It's only going to surprise people more and more on what it can and cannot do. I heard, this is something I heard throughout this conference. We were at a party, and I was approached by somebody that was working. I don't want to say Singularity, but because I can't remember clearly right now. But they told me that there is a project out there. I don't know the name. I don't know if it has to do with Singularity or not. That is going to be releasing the ability for you to have a Jarvis-like assistant that you can tell it, hey, I want to create this coin. I want to create this NFT project. It's through voice commands. You tell it what you want it to build on the blockchain, and it will build it for you. That sounds crazy. I don't know how true that is. I was approached. The guy said, hey, the guy that's working on it is over there. I never got to talk to the guy, but that is coming. And I'm not surprised. That Jarvis interface like scenario with Iron Man is only a matter of time before we get here, and it's only a matter of time before it gets to the blockchain. So I'm pretty bullish on AI stuff long term. Frankie, I want to hit you with what's something you're looking at, right? A lot of different type of altcoins right now. A lot of, whether we're going to pump here in May, the later end part of the summer. What are you feeling? What's something that you're looking at right now? One or two specific coins that you're saying, hey, I think this really has, some legs under it that can really make a run here, and just is really sticking out to you compared to everything else.
Yeah, I would say, I would agree. I think AI is a big narrative. I think right now, let me go ahead and share my screen with you guys real quick. I would definitely agree with the AI narrative 100%. The one thing I will say is it's really, we're in a very, very, very interesting part of the market right now. And for me, we had this big run up to about $31,000. We are hitting like insane resistance. We're kind of right now dancing right on that 200-week moving average, which is kind of one of the big things that I am looking at. Let me go ahead and just take a look here. So just kind of looking at Bitcoin here real quick. We had this big run up, right? And I've kind of been comparing this to the 2019 little bull rally that we had, kind of little fake out bull rally we had before getting that second visit of the lows down here. And it is looking eerily similar to this. And kind of what I'm looking at here is we have come up to some serious resistance, right? Like, not only has this been support throughout the entire bull market, we had our first top. It wound up being support on our first little bull market bottom here before coming up to the second all-time high. Then we came back down, tested it again. I like, there were so many people, I don't know if you guys remember, so many people here saying, this is the bottom. I think 30K is the new floor. The super cycle is going to play out. We're going to 100K. This is the fake out. The bears are going to get wrecked. And we wound up losing this and getting, obviously, an absolute nuke down to 15.5. And, now we are coming up and we're testing that level as resistance. And, not only that, I mean, this is also a value area. I don't know if it's, depending on what exchange you look at, sometimes these value areas will move. Yeah, you have your macro value area low in this area. Like, this is a very, very strong level of resistance, right? And to see this kind of rally continue, what I was looking for was to kind of flip this level right here at like about 29K, right? This value area low. I was kind of hoping, if we were going to see this rally continue, I was hoping to flip this value area low to support, because essentially what that would do is open up the door to potentially get, accepted back into this range, with the next stop being at around $34,500. And then flipping that would open the door to come up to about 48K, which is the value area high of that range, which obviously sounds like I know there's probably a lot of people out there thinking like, that's some real moon math. But that $48,000 level, this value area high, is almost in perfect confluence with our macro golden pocket. If you pull from the all-time high all the way to our low here, you have the macro golden pocket here coming in as well, which is exactly where we pulled up to on this little fake out bull rally in 2019. If you pull from the all-time high to the low of the bear market, you can see we came up to tap that golden pocket. So the problem here is kind of what I wanted to see to get that move up to the local golden pocket, which I know a lot of people think is crazy, but it would actually be less of a crazy move than it was in 2019. I think it was like 350% or something up to this golden pocket, where it would only be, let's see, you can go ahead and measure it from the we can measure it from the bottom. It's only a 200% rally to the top to bottom of that golden pocket. So definitely not impossible, but really what I wanted to see was the flip of that value area low coming in at about 29K, which we are currently rejecting from, right? Like we kind of hit our head there and we're kind of rejecting from there right now. And with the way some of the things are looking like on these, higher or, lower time frame than we were just looking at, but some of these higher time frames like the daily are looking kind of bearish with the head and shoulders. There's also somewhat of a bear flag forming here. So, I would really like to flip that 29K level and sustain support above that level before expecting a bigger move up. And to me, we really need that to see the altcoin shine, right? Because if Bitcoin's absolutely going to dump here, the likely case would be that altcoins are going to follow. So, for me, I don't really have any altcoins that I'm watching specifically right now. I know the meme coins have kind of been going crazy, but another, I'm not saying that we can't see a narrative where we see some kind of like a meme coin summer, right? We had DeFi summer. I'm not saying we can't see a meme coin summer. However, when I see meme coins pop, it's typically a top signal, right? Like we saw the meme coins go crazy in 2021 right before the top. Or right before we came down from the top. So it's kind of just a warning sign for me. Again, not saying that we can't come up at all, but just for me, I'm not really watching any altcoin specifically. One altcoin I am watching, though, I would say would be XRP. just because we are flipping a previous value area low on XRP. You can see right here, I have it marked out, previous value area low from this range all the way back here. And if we're able to maintain support above this value area low, I do think with the money flow coming up here on the 10-hour, we could potentially see a visit of the point of control of that range, which does come in at about 49 cents. And then if we can get a push higher, we could wind up seeing that 50-cent level for XRP somewhat soon if we can maintain support above this previous value area low. So no real altcoin gem really to talk about today, but I will say I am watching XRP as we are holding that, testing that key level of support as we speak. With money flow coming up on some of these time frames, it does look like we could potentially, if we hold that support, get a move up and finally see that 50-cent level for XRP again.
Dude, that's a great analysis and aspect is just that, hey, that's the reality right now with altcoins. If Bitcoin does decide to take a dump, right, a lot of altcoins are going to get hurt and they're going to bleed down as well. So somebody in the comments said, yes, Miguel's favorite. Yes, XRP. I had a lot of chatter over there at the conference about XRP.
I would like to say this too. I don't want to come off fully, completely bearish. Kind of the main thing I'm watching right now is that 200-week moving average, which I believe is coming in. I think it's at about $26,300. So that 200-week moving average is going to be a big thing I'm watching. If we start breaking that 200-week, that's kind of where I will flip bearish. So right now we are sitting at support with Bitcoin, like critical support, which I'm sure we might get into in a minute. But, if we start losing this level and then that 200-week moving average, that's where I fully flip bearish. So I'm kind of I'm kind of cautiously bullish, I will say, just kind of locally bearish, but kind of hoping that we hold the 200 weeks so we can continue this move to the upside.
Yeah, dude. Somebody at the conference asked me, it was Cassius, actually. Cassius recorded me in a video asking me what I thought Bitcoin's going to go, 20K or 30K first. And I thought about it for a second. And to be honest, I think 20K probably is going to happen first, then 30K, just because things are just, the whole meme coin aspect of this is, like you said, it's like a local top, right? It's what we see right before, we come right back down. We're still in a bear market. Yes, could we rally? If not if, when the debt ceiling is approved, right, and they raise the debt ceiling, could that easy money flowing into the market maybe pump Bitcoin? Hopefully, yes, we see that happen. But if we don't see that happen off of that, then I think Bitcoin's going to continue to lose its legs here for a little bit because we're still in a bear market. We're still far from the bull market unless some catalyst events that we've been talking about really fire off and really start to propel Bitcoin and massive, money comes flowing into Bitcoin because of it. So now I asked you guys about altcoins and what you guys thought was holding up well. Let's talk about some altcoins that are probably not holding up well. The other side of the spectrum, right? What are some altcoins that you're looking at, Army, that you're saying, hey, it's had its run, it had its moment, and it's probably time to get out. Obviously, not financial advice.
Honestly, I mean, beyond the meme coins, I don't really think that we have many of those right now. Everything's going to have pullbacks. I'm not going to count anything out. It may not be my DCA choice right now, but I don't think until we actually see what Bitcoin's going to do in this next run, does the halving event still exist? Is it still a fundamental 4-year cycle? I can't really put anything really out to pasture except for some meme coins. And, even they have their purpose, at the right time, moving in, grabbing 100% returns in 12 hours on Pepe, that's a good move. But I tend to agree with you on the side of Bitcoin 20,000. I actually have a couple of things that I'll show later on if we have time.
You can show that
20,000. Okay, yeah. Let me pull that up here real fast. So, I actually shared my screen so you can just drop it on in here. I didn't want to be the oddball that everybody has to, see my setup over here. So yeah. So looking here on our chart patterns, these are auto printed. So I wish that this update had been existent when we first hit this top peak here. Because if we go down and we measure this head and shoulders pattern that it printed here and put it to the breakout, it literally comes to where we hit on the bottom. So there's one right off the bat that I want to point out. If we go over, we look at the Gaussian channel, we've got a lot of support coming in on the Gaussian channel right now. and especially off this median line of the Gaussian channel, and it's coming in at about 25. But if we break down to the bottom of that channel again, that's coming in at 20,700. And
Can you explain how that indicator works? I don't think I've ever seen that indicator.
So it runs moving averages in channels. It's really just a bunch of moving averages running in channels with exponential and simple. But when you're in the bear market, it comes down and it turns red. When you come back in and it finds support on these average points here, it takes off again and it goes. I mean, mind you, we had the row dippity dump there that I like to call it. But overall, like once we're in the red channel and we start to turn green, because if I put this down on like a 5-day, I think it is. Yeah, we've already started to turn green here. And it doesn't flash back and forth except for black swan events. So we're already seeing a lot of bullishness here. But on the weekly, we could still pull down to this $20,700 range. If I look at it back on the 5-day here, that would be about the median. So we could pull back in here and still keep this green on the Gaussian channel. So there's one thing, or two, I should say. And then, of course, I showed this to you last time, but I don't know, some of the viewers may not have seen it. This is my Fibonacci channels. And it's on Bitstamp. It goes all the way back to the beginning of Bitstamp's recording back in 2011 here. And if we take a look at what we've got going here for the previous bear markets, you can see that we hit the golden pocket in previous bear markets to include, the Rona there. This was our first cycle. And when anyone goes, yeah, but Bitcoin's never had a bear market in a crypto winter at the same time. Well, guess what? We had a crypto winter in a bear market for the TradFi, and what it did was it came down for about 2 months, traded the golden pocket, finally broke it, perfect retest on the bottom there, and now we're running above the 786. If we were to come straight down today, it comes down to $20,100, hitting the 786. I do not believe that we're going to break the 786 in this entire cycle. And if we continue in this run, even if we came down to the 786 and we bounce up through here, that would put Bitcoin at the next halving at 37,800, upwards to 67,500 at the halving event. The fact that we have held the golden pocket so strong every bear cycle previous to this, I would have to say that it is very likely that we're going to see this golden pocket has now shifted to the platinum pocket coming on the 786, and that's going to be where we have our bottoming at. So even if we came down right now, it's like I said, 20,900, 20,700. I think that when you say that number, there's two reasons that support exists at that range off of multiple indicators. So, and I do believe that we've had the bottom already, just simply based off of that head and shoulders pattern that we picked up on Chart Prime's chart patterns here, which to the dollar came down, and that was the bottom. So that would have been lovely to have. We didn't have this update built when this occurred, but man, if I would have caught that, I would have shorted this entire thing all the way to the bottom and been all over YouTube with that one. So,
dude, that's great. I've never seen those indicators and those charts, those lines that you pulled. So that's great information. And what a coincidence! It goes right to that 20K area, right? So let me switch gears here to Bill. Bill, what do you have a certain altcoin that you're kind of like, hey, this altcoin, its run is done for? If not, we can switch over to the queen of altcoins, which is Ethereum, and we can start getting everybody's take on where you guys think Ethereum is going.
Okay, well, I can talk total three in the bond market. So I know everybody is talking about the debt ceiling. So let's talk about what higher rates can do to altcoins. So this is long bond futures, ZB. Okay, when rates go up, bonds go down. Okay, obviously you can see people losing confidence in the bond market because of the debt ceiling fiasco. And this looks like exactly what happened in August of last year, right? It looks like the same kind of falling off a cliff. Now, if you have long-term interest rates rise, right? Bonds down, rates up. Okay, this is pretty simple, right? This is a triangle, right? You've broken out of the triangle. And, your upside target should be, I don't know, the max upside target is this distance from the point of the breakout, okay, that is a 4.7 long bond or an 8% mortgage rate. Right now, the mortgage rate's at 7, and it could go to 8. Now, when you have the U.S. government having to come in, right, when the debt ceiling gets lifted, they're going to have to borrow hundreds of billions of dollars. They're going to literally have to suck all the money in the system out, right? And that, believe it or not, is just as bearish as a default. In other words, a default's bearish, obviously, right? But what's really bearish is when they have to pull the money out of the system, okay? And if you go over here and look at total 3, and I see like, Bill, why are you telling me this? Well, folks, when you have rising interest rates, when you have a problem in legacy, this is total 3. So this is everything, this is your Solana, your Avalanches, your Matics, everything that everybody wants from the last cycle that they think is going to get revived in the new cycle. Well, maybe, but maybe not. So the reason that I'm like, all right, well, if instead of a crypto market, it's a market of cryptos, look at AI. But if you look at what Frankie just showed, and you look at what's going on with interest rates, okay, if you got resistance into big coins and you can't get through it, and you have a rise in interest rates, which you're probably going to have, total 3 is going to come down here and retest the bottom of this very simple channel that it's been in, right? Which means the altcoins that you're hoping come back don't. So I'm sure Army is very familiar with this. Hope is not a tactic. It's not. So if you got altcoins and they're down, it's almost like you don't need financial advice. You may need tax advice about tax loss selling if Frankie's right about, that resistance and, big cap cryptos failing at that resistance.
That's wow. That's a big drop. That's a big drop.
Yeah, this is nasty. And I don't think anybody thinks that their altcoin can do this. I have an altcoin. I work at a small project. No, no one wants to think about their holding going down, but just be advised, the long bond doesn't care. Rising interest rates is bad for risky assets. Now, Bitcoin's held like a champ. Great, because $1 in Bitcoin is better than $1 in the bank. I'm sure you heard a lot of that at Bitcoin Miami. That's terrific. I hope this doesn't happen, right? Really, but
But you got to be prepared, right? You got to be prepared for those situations.
Frankie's chart and this chart of the bond market, I don't know. It speaks volumes. And just because crypto hasn't really moved, you can't get lulled to sleep because the government is coming in to suck all the money out of the system. Because again, the government hasn't been borrowing money because of the debt ceiling. So when they have to come in and start sucking money out of the system, that doesn't sound good to me for risky assets.
So you think that even though we might raise the debt ceiling, it could still be very bearish. So they're not going to. So you think they're not going to start printing more money?
No, I don't think it's in the Fed's interest to necessarily print several $100 billion when they maybe just got the Fed funds rate to the rate of inflation. In other words, they barely have this under control. Barely. They can't just turn around and print a T because Uncle Sugar needs to refinance himself. I mean, they can stop tightening, which Powell has already said. It's amazing. Everyone's like, when pivot? And then Powell pivoted and everyone's like, nobody even noticed. They pivoted because they know that when Uncle Sugar comes in to suck all the money out of the system, that's probably going to result in, say, another bank failure. It's going to result in tighter financial conditions. So, anybody who thinks the debt ceiling situation resolves anything, it doesn't resolve anything at all, right? And all we're hoping for is that crypto just holds its own and rallies, just manages to hold up, right? Like we're ignoring legacy. It's like a soft decouple is what you're hoping for.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's what you are hoping for a decouple, right? You're seeing these banks starting to drop. You're starting to see these, conditions happening, and you're hoping that this is the catalyst event that breaks Bitcoin apart, and then that's where the money starts flowing into Bitcoin. But we will have to see for sure what happens on there. That's a great take on the debt ceiling. I wasn't thinking about it that way at all. I was thinking, well, they raise the debt ceiling, They're probably going to start printing money. Easy money comes in, pumps the markets to try to keep things up, since the election year is coming up next year. So it's like they're going to try to keep the market pumped up due to it. But I wasn't thinking about it that way. So that's a great take on the debt ceiling for sure, and especially for the viewers. Guys, smash those likes. We got almost 100 people in here, and we don't even have 50 likes. Let's get a 2-to-1 ratio here. Let's get some 50,
So sad.
some likes of the 50.
So sad.
Yeah, come on, guys, come on. This is great information being dropped here for free. Go down to the description, go to the link, follow Frankie Kendalls, follow Bill Noble, follow Army Piper over Investing Bros. Go show some support and love. So Frankie,
I already follow both of those guys.
Smash the likes on all their videos. Frankie, talk to me about Ethereum. Let's switch over to the queen of altcoins, right? What's Ethereum like right now? Where is it? Is it holding up strong? We've seen it hold up strong before against Bitcoin's drops. Could it lead a rally, a charge, or is Ethereum just barely holding on?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, let me go ahead and pull up the Ethereum chart real quick. And real quick, I do just real quickly back to what Army was just saying. Some of the levels he pointed out are extremely interesting to me. Let me go ahead and where is let me just go ahead and share my chart. It's because it's not open. Oh, there we go. Okay. Boom. Okay. So real quick, I'm going to go straight to Ethereum, but real quick, Army was talking about, what was it? It was 20,800, between 20,700 and 20,007 and 20,009. That is an extremely interesting level to me. Not only does it come right in with a spider line that I have on my chart, like literally, I mean, depending on where you hit this trends upwards slightly, but it really comes in between about like 27.5 and 27.9. And these are typically extremely strong levels of support, as you can see from right here. But not only that, if you actually pull your, pull your Fibonacci from your absolute low all the way up to the high of about 31K, we actually have the golden pocket of this entire move to the upside coming in right around that level as well, where 20,900 is coming in right at the bottom of that golden pocket. So I just had to say that because he's looking at the exact same levels, but looking at completely different things. So I just wanted to say my TA points to those exact levels as well. And I'm looking at completely different stuff. So very, very interesting levels right there.
Let's go, Frankie.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I was watching him to do that, and I was like, man, I got these exact levels, and he's not even looking at the same stuff I'm looking at, which, I always, anytime something like that happens, is like, that is why I like TA. Like, TA is the coolest thing to me. But taking a look at Ethereum, we actually have some interesting stuff here. Now, a really, really big level that I would be looking at on Ethereum, at least to the downside, coming up to the daily chart. Yeah, it is looking like it may want to roll back to the downside, and kind of looking at the main levels I would be looking at here, or kind of how I am interpreting this is, right, I'm looking at the value area, right? I use the volume profiles constantly. They're extremely reliable, and basically, the way I handle these is, I find the range lows, I find the range highs, and I look for longs at the lows and shorts at the highs, right? And typically with a volume profile or a value area, when you get support on the value area low, it's very likely that you'll get a move up to the value area high, as long as you don't lose the low, right? You hold support on the low, likely that you go to the high. You can see it happened right here. And then obviously the point of control, this level right in the middle, does give you a lot of support and resistance, depending on if you're above or below it. But you can see here, we held the lows. We got a little resistance on the point of control, but eventually made it to the high as expected. And then you rejected the highs, came down to the point of control. And like I said, it does act as strong support. You got a deviation outside of your range. And at this point, I would look at this as Ethereum kind of being overbought, right? So when you come out of your value area, you could kind of think of this as being an overbought level, and price is likely to come back into that value area, because this is kind of, you could think of this as a balanced price for Bitcoin, right? Or I'm sorry, Ethereum in this case. So basically how I would be treating this is, we had broken back below into the range. We got support on the point of control, and then we got to move back up to the value area high. We wicked up a little bit, but we could not get above that value area high, in which case I would expect a move down to the value area low, which we almost got, but did not quite touch it. And now we are coming back up, and we are currently bearishly retesting this point of control. And if we can't get back above this point of control, the next likely spot, the next likely price for, or the next likely place for price to go would be back down to the value area low, which comes in at about $17,018, right? Or $17.17. And that could be the next price for Ethereum if we can't get back above this key level, which is the point of control of the range. And not only that, let me see. There is also, let me just pull up a let me pull up a different ETH chart. I have another one. So this is a little bit cleaner, but you could see we also somewhat have, we have somewhat, if you use TradingView has this really cool feature if you go into patterns where it will actually find head and shoulders for you or any kind of trading pattern. Now, I'm not a big pattern trader, but I forget where it is, but it'll kind of auto detect head and shoulders. But we do kind of have a head and shoulders here as well on Ethereum, just like we do on Bitcoin. I kind of wanted to show off this tool. It's completely free on TradingView. It's really cool. But whether, there's probably a few different ways to interpret this, but you basically have a left shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder with your neckline kind of coming up like this. Very, 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 very similar to Bitcoin. And again, I don't typically trade patterns very heavily. I do pay attention to them. I just don't trade solely based off of them. I just don't think it's the highest. I don't think it gives you the highest probability by just looking at that, but I definitely take them into account. And a head and shoulders is definitely a bearish pattern. But if I were to trade this pattern just by itself, I would wait for a breakdown of that pattern, which we did get, and I would wait for the bearish retest of the neckline, which we did wind up getting. So this is somewhat bearish to me. So not only are we bearishly retesting that point of control that I was just talking about, in which case, if we don't get above this, the next likely spot to go will be basically to about $1,700. But we also have the bearish retest of this head and shoulders, which essentially, if this head and shoulders plays out, the best entry for that short it would be basically the bearish retest of that neckline, which we are essentially already got. So if we are going to see, Ethereum start to come down here, which again, looking at the daily time frame, we do have money flow coming out. We have the VWAP coming towards that zero line, looking for a red dot. Could potentially give you that move down to about $1,700. In which case, that may not be the worst place to be looking for a potential scalp long, because if we do wind up getting that move down to about $1,700, which is the value area low of the range that I'm looking at, but if you do wind up getting that, you may set yourself up for a potential bullish divergence on the daily time frame. Obviously, very speculative. You'd have to wait for price action to play out and reassess the situation when you get there. But if you did get that move, you would have lower lows on your price action with higher low. If you do get the higher lows on your momentum waves, that may be a decent scalp long opportunity. But bearishly retesting that point of control and the neckline after breaking down out of that head and shoulders. If we don't get back above that POC, things could get ugly for Ethereum, and it could wind up heading down to about $1,718.
Dude, that's great. I mean, that actually leads me into my next question here. By the way, $1,700 Ethereum still pretty strong. I mean, I love Ethereum, right? I love everything they're doing, and I definitely have long-term bullishness for Ethereum. So $1,700, I'm not worried about. I'm not gonna be crying about $1,700 Ethereum. So I hope nobody's freaking out. Oh my God, Ethereum's gonna drop to 1,700. Guys, relax. It's okay.
I have an order in there
for a DCA position, or just like a long trade.
For a long trade at 1,700. I have a reason for it too. There's some confluence down there at 1,700. So,
dude, that actually leads me to, we're talking about Ethereum. Obviously, I got to talk about Polygon now. Talk about Matic, right? Polygon held $1 for a long time, very, very strong, right? Throughout this entire bear market, was actually holding up pretty strong, but it's melted since then from the $1 mark. If Ethereum does drop to that 1,700 army, where do you see Matic Polygon going? You're on mute for some reason.
Never on mute. You can't read lips. Come on, Crusader. I said you're throwing the curveball at me there. Let me pull up Matic here real fast. So Matic, let's see. Get it up here. By the way, I just want to say I'm honored to be on the show with all these great people today, man. This is great. I love working with Bill Noble. He's been on a lot of shows with us, and I've never gotten a chance to be on a show with Frankie Candle, so that's awesome. So when I'm looking at Matic here, man, so these lines right here, these are called predictive ranges. They're not a lagging indicator. They start off predicting from the get-go. So like by this time period here, these were here. One thing that I always talk about is about 70% of the price action occurs between these two gold bands, with the blue line being the delta. And just like it did all the way back here, looking like back on like the 9th of May, it's been playing in that range. And if you look at where we could be coming back down here, maybe with a little bit of a slight wick pass to grab the liquidity at this level, that would be coming in at about 82 cents. However, if I don't make little white dots on my chart there, let me go. We are looking here. We had a hidden bullish divergence that printed on our oscillator. And once that printed, we also got that ribbon twist. This cloud widening up here gives us plenty of room to run. And we're also getting RSI bouncing off of the signal line right now. I think that this is probably going to be paying a visit back to the top gold trade band here and on the dynamic reactor of the chart prime oscillator here. So it's looking like probably about 90 cents. I don't think that we're going to have too much downside. I think it's actually going to go up. There's a lot of bullishness in Ethereum right now, especially with the meme coin craze that keeps popping up left and right all over the place. And then also, if just real fast, let me pull this up to show you. If we look at Bitcoin on the weekly here, give me 1 second. There we go. Pull that up on the weekly here. We're sitting on the weekly chart right at our 200 moving average. We're stuck in between the dynamic reactor from Chart Prime and the 200 week moving average is where we're sitting right now in Bitcoin. If you take a look at Ethereum's not even close to coming down to it. And the last time it touched it, it got a beautiful bounce off of it. Ethereum's looking stronger than Bitcoin is right now, in my opinion, strictly based off of how it's playing with the dynamic reactor. It didn't reject too far away. It's staying right here on the delta line. 200 is a good distance below. Let's actually measure that and see what it is. From where it's at right now, it's about 16% above the 200-week moving average is about 16% below where we're sitting at. If we actually take it and look at Polygon Matic, then let me pull it back up here because it's somewhere down my long list of charts. I need to get my stuff cleaned up and sexy like Frankie Candles has his, man. That way I can focus on building up catchphrases like Bing Bong. Look at here, like what I was showing on here. We're sitting pretty on here. We're still well above, just like Ethereum is on the weekly. We're still sitting right there on the what I didn't even go to it. That is the weekly on Ethereum right there. We're still sitting well above the 200-week moving average on Polygon Matic, and we're still sitting right there around that freight, that 200 or that delta line. So if you look at where we are, even when I go to the 2-day, we're still holding inside the predictive range. So I think Polygon Matic has got a better chance of going up than it does down, and it's strictly based off of Ethereum holding up much better than Bitcoin.
Dude, that's great. That's great. I was actually thinking that if ETH does drop, that it's going to go down, but you're saying that it can actually hold up pretty strong. Yeah, I mean, Matic has been doing great this whole entire time.
Well, if ETH drops, it absolutely is going to drop with it. It's not going to hold up on its own. It's not a standalone strong guy, right? It needs ETH strength to go with it. But I believe that Ethereum is holding up better than Bitcoin. So even if Bitcoin comes down, I think that Ethereum's pullback is not going to be as catastrophic as what Bitcoin's could be, just because people will start looking for where they want to put money somewhere. At the end of the day, you got to remember, Crusader, people are tired of sitting on the dollars. They have been sitting on their dollars and waiting to put it in something, and we're degens. We're degens. That's why casinos in Las Vegas are so popular. We want to go gamble. They're going to find their money to put it somewhere. It's probably going to be another meme coin. When that meme coin hits, what's going to happen to Ethereum? Just like it did last time with Pepe. And another point that no one's really talked about is the NASDAQ is creating annual highs. It just keeps hitting a new 12-month high. if we get back into correlation on Bitcoin with the NASDAQ, and no one's even thought about that, Bitcoin could really take off and crash through all these resistances. The NASDAQ isn't pulling back at all. And when you think about the NASDAQ correlation with Bitcoin that it used to have, it's really easy for us to link back onto that and push right through this resistance with a little NASDAQ jet fuel. So
that's an interesting take, actually correlating the NASDAQ with Bitcoin. Usually we talk about decoupling, but you're saying that actually staying correlated to it a little bit longer could actually propel Bitcoin. That's actually a really interesting take. I haven't thought about that at all. But I want to quickly pivot here with another curveball for Bill, talking about we've talked about AI a lot with you, and the traditional markets and stuff. An interesting topic was brought up at the Bitcoin conference by somebody we know, which is Daniel from Crypto is Good, I believe is his TikTok handle. He's a big ICP guy, and obviously ICP, the internet computer, and AI probably go hand in hand, talking about how ICP is like the layer 3 of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Do you have any information on ICP, on any chart or anything on where it's going? Because it's had a roller coaster of a ride from ICO, right from the launch price to where it happened with everything with FTX and Solana and all this craziness. Where could it possibly go from here?
Okay, so I've got ICP up here with the Tom DeMark work. I think my screen is still shared. So, I don't follow a lot of people on Instagram, but I always see the big man, BitBoy, every now and then talking about ICP. And, if they got the BitBoy Nation behind this thing and supports holding, in other words, then the old generation of altcoins is not going to make it, right? In my opinion. What's going to make it is the new stuff. This assumes we're in a sideways motion and it's not this cascade lower. So if this thing is holding support, I mean, this is a little bit similar to what I drew with AGIX, not exactly, but, has it paid to sell ICP this year at below $5? It really hasn't. And then I'm pretty sure if you go to the weekly, right? Okay. You got the DeMark 13 bottom. Okay. So, you had the 13 bottom down here. It traded terrible for like 5 weeks before something happened. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what happens, right? Like, the government legacy has got problems. Does that trickle over into crypto? It definitely could. It definitely could, right? But if it doesn't, and you have 4 to 5 weeks of sideways in something like ICP, they came after NASDAQ. This is a great point that Army made, right? I mean, if they went after NASDAQ, if they went after Google, right? Well, when they get done doing that, assuming a stable market, or even if the market corrects, what are they going after next? They're probably going after anything that is the future in crypto related to AI, computing power. You want to call it a layer 3. So, I mean, I'm not doing anything, unless this whole thing just cracks. There's no reason to sell this thing at support, because that has not worked all year. If anything, they've run stops, gotten everybody out, and then just taken it back up again. And then you got BitBoy on the tape. BitBoy's going to be on the tape on this every time it goes down.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with the ICP. I think they're doing a lot of interesting things, and it could be one of those long-term plays. Obviously, it hasn't been holding up. It hasn't been doing anything great right now. But I think people are just, it's like you're saying, right? The new stuff is what's really going to propel forward, and I think ICP is still so new that a lot of people haven't really caught on, right? They all got a really bad taste with it launching at like almost $400, and then with everything that happened, it dropping. But people don't really understand what ICP is doing or the technology behind it just yet, to an extent where people can even be that bullish on ICP long term. So I in my personal opinion, I'm probably stacking a little bit here and there every once in a while when it has some dips. That's what I've been doing, just because I think it's gonna have a decent run next time. But that's obviously no TA. That's just pure speculation on my part. Just because it's doing so much that even I have a hard time understanding everything it can do.
Right. I think there's a saying in Legacy, like sometimes the stock market moves all together, all the stocks move together. And then sometimes instead of a stock market, you have a market of stocks, meaning certain things will outperform while everything else sits still. So if we're all watching grass grow, like, I mean, if crypto goes down, and we've established both technical and fundamental reasons why crypto could go down, well, okay, this is a moot point. But if crypto doesn't go down, or if July is not as bad, June is not as bad as it might be, or there's some fireworks, then there's an opportunity to participate in a market of cryptos, of buying the cryptos that you think are going to do well. Is ICP on that list? Probably, right? Is the stuff from the last 2 cycles on that list? Probably not.
Yeah, the last 2 cycle stuff, I think the only thing I'm keeping on is Litecoin. I think and it's pure speculation. It could definitely not go anywhere, but I just have a feeling. I think the ordinal stuff can really revive it. I mean, that's 100%, just a Hail Mary out there. It's not like I hold a ton of Litecoin or I'm DCing constantly into Litecoin or anything, but I do hold a small little bag of it. And I don't know. I have this feeling with everything that's happening with Bitcoin and the congestion, that Litecoin could definitely be a solution here for those things. And I don't know. It's just one of those things.
I think a good play to do on that Litecoin play, Crusader, would be catching that halving, and then once you get that good run on that, because it's going to play out. Like eventually, people are going to start to move over. But if you can catch one of those slow movers, those off schedule movers like Chainlink, or things like what's the other one? Can't think off the top of my head. There's a couple of them that I watch that everything will move and then they'll be flat, and then all of a sudden they'll take off. I think if you catch that Litecoin on that big move and then push that over into the into one of those like Oracle, like Chainlink or something like that, and catch that move when it moves, and then give Litecoin time to pull back again, then jump on that again, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with the rollover that you'll get on catching those opposite moves that things do with Litecoin sometimes. So,
dude, I completely agree. I just want to shout out to Crypto Lifer, dude. Thank you so much for the super chat. You don't need to do that. If nobody's seen our chat, awesome, dude. I appreciate the sound effect. If nobody's seen our episode from last week on Thursday with Lifer at the conference, we also have Gareth on there, and we have Crypto Zombie as well. Go check it out right now. Lifer was dropping crazy knowledge on there with no chart pulled up in front of them, right? It was just straight off the dome. So go check that out if you guys haven't checked that out. But guys, I just want to say I really appreciate all 3 of you showing up here every single Monday and Thursday to drop all this information for all the viewers for free, right? You guys are bringing hardcore work, working these charts, these different things to bring this information, and it really helps people out understand what's going on in the markets. So I appreciate everyone coming out here and everybody that's watching. One thing you can do, the one thing you can do, and it's free, doesn't cost you anything, just cost you a few seconds of your time, is go to the description box, go to their individual links, go follow them if you're not following them already. And if you are following them, go watch their videos, go smash those likes, right? That's what content creators need. All they need is a sub, a bell notification, and some likes on their videos. It's completely free to you, and they're bringing you crazy knowledge every single day on their respective channels and in these collabs as well. So go do that. Go show them some love. But guys, that's all I had for you guys. Great combat, right? With the questions. I know I threw some curveballs in there and try to catch you guys off guard. I got to keep you guys on your toes. But I appreciate all of you guys showing up. Like always, question everything, trust nothing, and until next time, hodl like it's hot. See you guys.